episode 61.
Welcome to episode
61?
62, I think this is. Did we say?
You just said what it was.
No, we've done 61. This is it.
We've done 61. This is 62. Take
welcome,
one.
Welcome to episode 62 of the Unplugged Health
Unplugged show.
Series podcast.
Radio show.
We didn't make it easy when we decided on a title, but it is Unplugged.
And it is about health.
It is. And
it is a radio, it is a podcast.
It is, and it is around the time of year where people are either still pumped and going for the new year and the new you, or people are flagging. But we chatted earlier and decided that a good topic. Well, you said that you've actually recently just done this topic yourself.
No, just chatted to a few people about it, not done
I
live
thought it was
or
something
anything
with
about
live.
it. No.
On the that unique situation of are people exercising so that they can still have their cake and eat it and exercise it out, or some people get into the exercise. So when I was sent Ollie a note earlier, I was referring to the gym goer who's going for an hour, maybe 2, maybe even 3 times a week, but then gets into I've got to have my pre-workout fuel, my post-workout shake, or the guy who's going out on the bike now that the weather will start turning, goes out on the bike for 45 minutes, but then it's pre-workout, post-workout, or so it's always an interesting one about the relationship of exercise and food, either preparing for the food. So I think we've got so many different subjects there.
Yeah,
I thought it'd be interesting to discuss along those lines, because there's a lot of confusion. I remember way back being in a gym, and the discussion of a PT was with a client of theirs along the lines of, well, you need to eat bread, because if you didn't eat bread, well, what would you do with the ham? And I was like,
you'd eat it.
Yeah. And it was this concept of that you'd either eat normally or you wouldn't eat normally. You got to change this because you're exercising. So there's so much confusion out there.
What is normal?
What is normal, and what is normal exercise?
Yep.
Because I'm sure, I mean, obviously in your past life, as far as bodybuilding and training, I can remember, food was a big thing because it was all about where you were with your training. But I'm talking more about just the average warrior who's going and just looking to get fit, burn some stresses out of the day, starts to feel better, or the person who's like, I need to go to the gym because I had a big meal the other night. And there's a lot of confusion of that, you exercising versus food and exercise, or normal diet and some exercise.
Yeah, and I think when we get into February, people have been hitting the gym for a month, or they've been doing a diet for a month. We get into February, and then there is the actual social aspect which changes.
Yeah. Because
31st of January, we're still in dry January, and then the 1st of February, we're wasted.
And also around the corner, you're going to soon go into the spring, summer, outdoor, they come over for a barbecue kind of thing.
And it's easier when everyone is doing it. When everyone's doing veganuary, when everyone's doing dry January. And in fact, the veganuary side of things, a friend of mine, Louis Blake, done a post, and he runs Erpingham House. So it's and he's got multiple plant-based businesses, talking about that just inherently doing vegan diets isn't healthy. There's plenty of vegan junk food out there.
Yeah. So
people saying we're going to take out meat for January isn't necessarily healthy. We do seem to have more vegetables and so on. It's the same as doing gluten-free and stuff like that. That's another podcast we can do. But it's easier when everyone's doing it. And this is when it starts to get more singled out side of things, where you go to a party and you're the one not drinking. When you go there and you're not eating like the healthy, unhealthy food, whatever, and like where people seem to jump on it a bit more, where they're like, oh, why aren't you drinking? Oh, you're boring, all that sort of stuff. And I absolutely have that, given that back in the day when I did start my health kick, it was a resolution. It was a January thing where I started going to the gym, and I started then eventually getting to the point where having protein shakes, and then it did go to the extremes, as we said. And then inevitably, is that healthy? I don't think it was when we looked at how extreme it went to myself on my own way. But even now, I see my food nutrition protocol, shall we say, it is normal. It is normal to me.
Well, you see it in a totally different light to that when you were training, because it's a bit like a high performing athlete is not necessarily fueling their body for health; they're fueling it for performance.
Yeah.
So the average day person who's not necessarily going to the gym, could be just going out on the bike for 2 or 3 rides a week or so. From a general fitness perspective, do they need to change their diet because of their exercise?
Is their diet keeping them healthy, or is the diet
Well, if
keeping
they've got
them unhealthy?
whatever their diet, they've got a standard diet, which probably isn't in the true sense of it as critically healthy as. But they don't. Do they need to say, "Oh, I'm going to go for a bike ride for an hour, so I need to take my gel packs, and I need to do this, and I need to do that"? Can we get caught up in the science of sports nutrition going into the average person exercising?
Honestly, like any I don't take a pre-workout, post-workout shake every time. I might have a coffee pre-workout or a pre-workout energy booster sometimes. Not if I'm going out for a run. Well, it'll be a coffee. Like I have my coffee, dog walk, then go out for my run. We can very much get caught up in the details. I don't have a post-workout shake. I come home and have my lunch or my first meal of the day. Whereas before, when I was really obsessed with it, it was post-workout shake, pre-workout, intra-workout. When I was working with professional athletes, even then, like 90 minutes to 2 hours is when we start having something in the workout, apart from water, obviously, to stay hydrated. And I think we can get really, really caught up in the details. But why is someone cycling? If it's to get healthier, then we do need to have a focus on nutrition.
Oh, there's no doubt. Certainly, if you put in that, and so this is what I never really got. Also, is that if you're spending the time and going to the gym and working out, and your goal is to get healthy, in that you should ideally also be looking at your nutrition, but not from a performance perspective in the gym, but they would complement each other.
I would look at
you're going to get better results.
Life.
Yeah, it's a great way of putting it.
Rather than But
I remember also going to the gym and some people then going, "Oh, I need to go," and they would buy like a protein shake or so for after their workout. And I'm like, but you've been in the gym for 45 minutes, you've done a bit of cardio and some weights. Is that really necessary? As opposed to, when did you have a decent meal before your workout? And then when are you eating next? You don't need to accommodate more. Now, if you get into what I'm talking about the average person, because if you do get into performance element and that, yes, then that becomes more and more technical. But the vast majority of people going to the gym or have enrolled in New Year's resolutions to be healthier and that have just really increased their amount of exercise. Yeah. They've brought back into place what really they should be looking to do.
And they don't need that, as long as they're getting half decent amounts of protein throughout the day.
Yeah.
And when I say half decent amount of protein, when people say about protein gives you wind and stuff like that, that's too much protein.
Yeah.
Or you're not digesting it right. And there's a joke about it. At the gym and I'm having my protein shakes. They give me wind. Well, you're having too much. I don't have as much protein anywhere near as much protein. Can it be the quality of the
protein as well?
Quality of the protein, but whether someone's got problems with lactose, with sweeteners, whatever it is, that sort of thing. But we don't need as much protein as people think.
Yeah.
When you actually look at simple studies of someone who's a burns victim, that the skin is an organ, and you think about protein is there to help us rebuild, to recover, rejuvenate. Burns victim with serious burns, the studies show that about 1.25 grams per kilo of body weight is needed at that extreme state. Recovering from trauma of a workout is nowhere near the trauma of actually going through a burns like victim and repairing that.
I've seen it a lot, and particularly in more younger clients, they kind of get pulled into that. I'm training, I'm doing this, and then I need whether it's an article or it's they are the target from the advertising element. So the shake or the post workout, the pre workout meal becomes a focus. Whereas actually, if it's that person looking at overall health, then yes, they should look at the nutrition, but in the sense of what is their correct rounded nutrition from a health perspective, and then the exercise adds to it, rather than I need to change my nutrition in relation to my when I'm working out and my recovery, and almost walking out of the gym with a post-workout shake because I've got to repair all those muscle fibers. That's
where people get confused,
traumatizing, right? and it gets.
It's overwhelming.
Overwhelming and unnecessary in many cases.
Like when you actually look at weight training, you're in there for 45 minutes, say. You're probably doing 15 minutes of exercise.
Yeah.
By the time you pick the weight, you do your 8, 12, however many reps there are, your 4, 5 sets, 3 sets, whatever it is. The actual amount of lifting is very, very minimal. And we're going to break down muscle fibers. We have to recover the muscle fibers to just recover and grow and get stronger. And we do that with adequate protein throughout the day. Yes, you could look at some studies which show, get some within a certain amount of time afterwards, but I think there's plenty of other studies that debunk certain things like that.
And that may be that's my point though. That may be appealing to the person who's now in that small percentage of looking at more elite performance, or someone who is going down bodybuilding things.
If I competed in a bodybuilding show again now, pretty certain I won't be getting post-workout shakes and stuff like that. I'd be much more focused on my diet throughout.
Yeah, but that comes probably with more investing time and energy and understanding nutrition and understanding biophysiology, biochemistry, and that, rather than, whereas a lot of people out there are bombarded by the fad or the trend or the advertising element or the ease. Don't worry about all that. Just get this protein shake. And then when you look at the protein, it can become a very highly processed product, rather than the nutrition or the source of the nutrition is what your body is designed to.
But otherwise as well, the protein shake in essence is just an item of food. It's whey protein, whether it's vegan protein, whether it comes from pea, soy, rice, whatever it is, hemp protein, beef protein, all different types of shakes that you get. Now, I have some people that I've spoke to that have struggled to get their protein in, and we want to raise their protein up through the day. And I've said to them, well, let's get a protein shake in, just one shake in a day. And it might be that gives them 20, 25 grams of protein overall for their diet. And they'll be, I don't want to have a protein shake because I don't want to get big or anything like that. Yeah. That doesn't happen by accident. No. And I think that's actually quite disrespectful for people that actually do go into the gym day in, day out and lift weights. And people are well, obviously that just happens by taking a protein shake and doing some bicep curls.
And I've noticed the other flip side of it is that some people, they will go to the gym, so they start going, and someone says, well, let's do some, what about some weights or some free weights? And they go, yeah, but I don't want to get big.
Yeah.
And it's like, and so
what
I've learned,
that, you're not going to get big.
What I've learned certainly with working with Ollie, and then with some other guys through with the bodybuilding, and a few females who've got into looking at training and taking it seriously, the amount of science and dedication are not only on the physical element of the training, but on diet and when to eat and the commitment that the average person does not have to worry about going to the gym and suddenly becoming too big.
To put it this way, it's the same way of saying pick up a golf club. I don't want to be Tiger Woods.
Yeah,
drive a car. I don't want to be Lewis Hamilton.
I'm going to the driving range and hitting a few balls, but I'm just a bit scared that I'm suddenly going to
get a hole in one, win a PGA Tour.
That would be beautiful.
The same, you start a run, and I don't want to run a marathon.
Yeah, I don't want to run too quick because I don't want.
It's a similar perspective there. Looking at a protein shake, it is just another item of food, which is convenient. Is it as good as having food? Not when we look at the actual physiological ways our body digests food when we chew it, how it releases enzymes to digest the food. It's not going to be as effective as having a chicken breast, but when we actually look at people's, or some of their digestive systems can't handle the food at the moment, their schedules can't handle the time to prepare the food. And I think looking at the bigger picture of food over time, not even necessarily calories in a day as such, like we used to look at training day, non-training day, all these things, but like the average over time, like your body doesn't see the end of the day and then it says, oh, actually, like I'm going to start from zero now. It's average of calories in, calories out.
And I don't want to turn it into a discussion of protein, but protein is a topical thing, but it also exists with carbs. A lot of people go, well, you know, the whole, even to the point of performing, you know, I've got a carbo load, or I've got a workout later, so I just got to have some carbs to get the energy to do that and that. And when people understand the physiology of how the body works and that, there's actually enough going on for the average person. But as I said, when you get more elite athlete and performance, it can be a little more technical. But then you're looking at the technicality from a performance perspective. If you're going to go and it's the FA Cup final and that, yes, what you're going to eat just before is going to be important.
And technicality,
but most people aren't. Yeah, but 2% gain here and there can make a big difference. For the average person, they can really kind of go up, pitch up to gym, do a workout, you know, replace some fluids, go home and then have a meal.
Yeah, and that used to go back to sports drinks as well, like having to have a Lucozade or Powerade or whatever is the go-to sports drink that is nowadays. Like, people have run a 5K and then looking at doing it. Like at the Olympics, obviously there was sponsorship. They'd like be, Usain Bolt finished 100 meters and they'd be passing him a Lucozade. He's just run 100 meters. That he's going to replenish his stores quite quickly. Like, and it's a different energy system.
Or you could
be
a bit like Ronaldo when he was it the Europeans or something?
Yeah, with the Coke.
Yeah, I'll just move that out the way.
Yeah. Like, you want to advertise this? You pay me.
Yeah, I'm not getting paid, and I don't drink this stuff. That was like the. So it's an interesting one.
I suppose, like, just to touch on before we finish, is that, and this is another thing we can look at, like, where do we then take this and say, well, if you're doing this, you should try and do this sort of thing as well, like having your shakes and everything like that, working on your training and nutrition and everything, but then you're going and having a bottle of wine at night. Is that going to be detrimental to it? Like, how far do you stop, or do you take it with this? And training should be for enjoyment as well. And like, when people say, I had the conversation with a client, I don't resonate with someone that lifts weights. Well, don't lift weights then. If your goal is to be in a certain shape and that requires weight training and so on, but we should be enjoying everything. But when it comes to health, even as a practitioner, the way I work with clients is like, yes, I am a personal trainer, but that is only a little bit of what I do. There's functional medicine, nutritionist, health coach, and mindset work. And that's where we start focusing on. If you're not sleeping through the night, if you're getting random outbursts of bloatedness, of acne or whatever it is, like, we need to look at that stuff. And sometimes the training is one of the causes of that, because we're overly stressed. And
also, from our perspective, philosophically, we will look at the life bubble as such, as along physical, emotional and chemical. So when a lot of people are talking about exercise and training, we don't necessarily see it as training unless they're training for a specific goal. You know, I'm training because of football, I'm training from that aspect. But then you've got the complete element, you've got the emotional and the chemical. So for me, the average person going to the gym is complementing and ticking that box of movement. So if someone chooses that, so first thing is movement is enjoyable. So if you're attracted to the spinning class and you want to improve cardiovascular, do that and then build up, but understand that the physical is only the bubble. So going to the gym and beating the hell out of yourself, so that then you can go out and have 5 pints at kebab on the way home, and therefore you don't put weight on, is not
the chances are that would look at putting more weight on because of the stress that the body's under.
Yeah, that's not healthy, and it's not gaining the goal.
So it's also where you see people that go to spin, body combat, body pump, and bums, legs and tums in a row, And I get like schedule wise, like if you're a mum and that might be the only time you can do that, but it would actually be healthier for a stress management perspective and for losing weight to manage your nutrition and go to one of the classes.
Yeah. So that's my overall point, is that the gym and the physical exercise where it's going on your bike or going to the gym, it takes that physical element of box or moving.
Yeah.
But then you still got the emotional element, your sleep element and the exercise may well be part of that process of managing stress, but not creating another stress. But then also the nutritional side or the chemical side of things is really important. So I think in many ways, many people should look at nutrition as far as the exercise, but not necessarily from a performance element, but more from a rounded overall health perspective.
Exactly.
Right. Thanks for joining us. I hope that asks new questions, scratches them, or actually creates more questions. So as always, Ollie and I, we're more than welcome to give up our time and respond to any questions, any comments. And as always, our services encompass a holistic approach to health and well-being, and we're here to serve. So if we can help you in any way, let us know. Until then, we will see you on episode 63.
63.
Thanks for joining us, and have a good day.
Take care. Bye-bye.